Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with Works You Collect Compulsively. And today I want to talk to you about Holst's The Planets. Don't we all collect it compulsively? Well, maybe not. I don't know. There may be some people who don't, but you should. Oh, it's such a cool piece. I tend to compulsively collect works that are so big and complicated from a purely sonic and executional point of view that nobody gets everything 100% right. It was true of the Mahler Second, which we talked about in my last video in this series, and it's also true of The Planets. I mean, The Planets is a study in rhythm and color, basically, and a beautifully engineered study in rhythm and color too. I mean, it's really phenomenal that way, but it's a tough piece to pull off 100% correctly. It uses strange instruments like a heckelphone, which is a bass oboe, alto flute. I mean, it has all kinds of interesting sonorities. And I mean, I've played the piece. I played the piece as a band piece, a couple movements of it. We did Jupiter and we did Mars and we did things like that in band. But I also played the complete work with the Stanford Symphony Orchestra when I was a grad student. And oh my goodness, that was one of my absolute glory days as a percussionist, because I got to do the glockenspiel solo in Jupiter, where I actually get the tune. Remember? Da 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 ba-da-da-dum ba-da-da-dum ba-da-da. Oh my God. And I did it perfectly. I was happier than a clam. You can't believe how excited I was. But I actually have a cassette of it somewhere sitting around. I don't know. It was unbelievably exciting. Plus, I got to do the Tam Tam and Mars and all this other stuff. It was just fun. It was really, really fun. I think I've talked about it before too. I mean, but it was just such an enjoyable thing. The conductor was Andor Toth, this sort of cranky Hungarian, and there were days when, I was an amateur, so I showed up for every single rehearsal. I was there. I mean, I practically slept there. Wasn't going to miss a second. I needed the practice, first of all, and second of all, the real music students and the people who were really on top of their game, they didn't need it particularly, and they were casual in their attendance, which annoyed Maestro Toth to no end. He expected you to be there, but I mean, there was one time I remember when we were doing, what was it? I think it was Uranus or Neptune, the magician one. It's going, and I was the only person there, the only percussionist there. They had a timpanist, but they didn't have the utility percussion, the kitchen people, as they used to call us. And I was just in the back, slamming and crashing into everything I possibly could. It's bash with the cymbals, boom with the bass drum, and then whack with the tam-tam. And, it was all me. So we're doing like the climax of that movement, and he's conducting, and eventually he calls a stop. But of course, it takes a minute before the orchestra noticed. And I'm sitting around going, boom, crash, wham with the tam-tam. And he's like, ah. And so I'm, trying to damp down the tam-tam and the cymbals and all that stuff, just trying to, get it all under control. And he goes, oh, piatti. He referred to all percussionists as piatti, plates, cymbals. Piatti. And I'm like, yeah, here. He said, well, where are the rest of you? And I said, I'm it today. It's just me. He said, all of that noise was coming from you? I said, yes, it was just me. He said, in my entire career, I have never heard more noise coming from a single human being. And I said to him, I'll take that as a compliment. It was okay. But, oh, God, it was fun to do. It really was. And my first recording of it, that I actually owned before I actually played the thing, was Leonard Bernstein with the New York Phil. Again, it was a new release, and it was something else that I found reviews. I read review magazines, to see what the new releases were. And I got it. And it's not on my list of top 5 performances. Remember, we're only doing top 5 performances, the ones that I would listen to for pleasure, pure pleasure. That's what I want. Pleasure. Nothing, this is not the review of like all the performances in existence. And it's okay. But afterwards, and I started listening to others, I thought, oh, well, these are much more compelling than Bernstein's. And I think I understand why. Because The Planets is the kind of piece that he could conduct well but it doesn't have any kind of emotional impact at all. I mean, there's nothing human about the planets at all. There's no warmth in the work, aside from maybe the big tune in the middle of Jupiter. It's basically, like I said, it's a study in rhythm and color. And these are, Sanskrit or, things. I mean, it's war, it's peace, it's speed, it's jollity, it's these emotional qualities, old age, things like that. But they're not things about which you're going to get snuggly and warm about, and it doesn't offer any opportunity for intense emotional expression. I mean, in fact, all of Neptune is supposed to be played completely coldly, except for the clarinet melody that comes along later. It's Holst's direction, a dead tone. It should be a dead tone. And if you look at the score, it's really very interesting. There is not a single espressivo anywhere. Nothing like that in any of the string parts. I mean, the violin is supposed to be espressivo, but of course they're playing Collegno, going clackety clack, 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 and Mars. There's almost nothing. No opportunity to make some sort of emotional point. So what Bernstein does is he just sort of conducts it, and it's a little bit metronomic. And, there are ways that you can do things interesting interpretively with timbre and with the way, you balance things and all that, but it doesn't give you much chance to emote. So it wasn't Bernstein's thing, I don't think. I mean, it's a decent performance, but not a great one. And after that, then I heard Ormandy, which was better. I mean, because I was living in the U.S., I mostly had exposure to American recordings. And you had to go to a really well-stocked classical music store to find imports or things that came from elsewhere. And I know that at the same time in the 70s and in Europe, it was the same thing. They could get their local record labels and the ones that they had available, and stuff from the United States on labels like Sony and RCA was harder to come by. And you wouldn't want it even if you could find it, because the pressing sucked so badly, it was like not even worth the investment. So it was only later, as I began to accumulate performances, that I began to fall in love with, first, Adrian Boult, because I knew he did the premiere and I wanted his recordings. And I actually got his later one, the 77 or whatever it was, the one he made just before he died, also for EMI. And I thought it was marvelous. The sound was stunning, but, that was actually easier to get as an import, for me anyway. So I got it as an import, but then I went back and heard his new Philharmonia recording from 1966, and it's better disciplined, and everything is just right. And it's very well recorded for its day, too. It sounds terrific. So Boult was essential because he was the guy who did the premiere, and I wanted to hear his view of it because I knew it would be as close as possible, probably to Holst's own. And I think it is still. Then I got the Boston Symphony with Steinberg on Deutsche Grammophon, because it was Boston, and I wanted to hear Boston do it. And Steinberg's performance is faster than hell and ferocious. Really, actually closer to what Holst did himself in his own recordings than Adrian Boult was. Although Boult, I think, is closer to what Holst actually wrote, as opposed to what Holst actually did. And it's a very exciting performance. Really powerful, especially in Mars. And wonderfully well played. The recording is strangely spotlit in places, but, it's okay. I mean, it still sounds incredibly vivid. It was a powerful experience. Then Charles Mackerras with the Royal Liverpool Philharmonic, because it's Charles Mackerras, who you can always count on to deliver an absolutely first-rate, idiomatic, musically on-point performance of anything. And because he's such a great conductor, and because I thought he would be really good at a coloristic piece like this, I wanted to hear it. And sure enough, he was. He's really good. He was almost like Adrian Boult, only with even better playing. And it was a more modern recording, and so that was exciting. And I play that one all the time, too. And the one that really shocked the crap out of me, well, the last two, both of them did. The Montreal Symphony Orchestra with Charles Dutoit. I mean, who would have thunk? But then again, I said to myself, it's not a line piece. There's like no counterpoint in it. It's a chord work. It's like Impressionism. It's like Debussy. It's like all that French stuff. It's all about sound and color and texture. Okay, it's sound and color and texture with a little bit more rhythm than the Impressionists often gave us, but it's still close in terms of conception. And the Montreal Symphony was playing absolutely fabulously, and they had a killer trombone section. Really good, cutting trombones that made the most out of Mars and Jupiter and the big climax at Saturn and Saturn and and Uranus and all that stuff. It's really, really good. So the orchestra sounds fabulous. Decca was doing excellent work sonically, and it just turned out to be absolutely first rate. Shocked me to death, but first rate it was. And then also a shocker, but maybe not so much in retrospect, is the Vienna Philharmonic with Karajan. Vastly superior to his Berlin remake in terms of both discipline and sonic balance and all of that stuff, timbral balance. But the Vienna Philharmonic, I would never think would be able to play this piece. First of all, it's way too rhythmic. It's way too tricky for Vienna. And second of all, I mean, all the sounds that, the strings don't have anything to do. And, the horns are louder than the trumpets and trombones. I just thought it would be an ungodly mess. And it turned out to be fabulous. Because Karajan was, of course, a chord guy. And he got them to play it. He really got them to play it. They sound like they're having a blast doing it. They really did. And they nail the rhythms. It's really astonishing how idiomatic a performance it really is. Without, while still bringing plenty of that sort of, special color and character that the Vienna Philharmonic has. Really an outstanding recording and a shocking one. Although, remember, Karajan started his career on long playing record, working with Walter Legge and EMI in London with the Philharmonia. So he had plenty of opportunity to sort of absorb the idiomatic style in this particular work. And he did a damn good job. Really, really fine. So I was extremely impressed. And those are my top 5 for Holst the Planets. I'm very interested to know what yours might be. Just because it's another one of those pieces where, like I said, it offers so many opportunities to do so many things, and nobody's going to get all of it exactly right. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.